Hello, Namaskar viewers. I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to the show, The Business Talk with Ajay, right here on ITV Gold. This weekly show brings you all the latest updates from the world of business, not only in US but international as well. And of course, all the business news related comments and the news and opinions given by Mr. Ajay Kumar of CPA Services. CPA Services is a full-fledged accounting firm located in the state of New Jersey, multiple locations, and they're full-fledged accounting firm, from accounting to payroll to bookkeeping to even start up a business and maintain your business tax returns, as well as to assist you in a personal tax returns. Their experience and knowledgeable on-hand CPAs will definitely guide you in the right direction so you can file your taxes correct way. Any consultation is possible on phone, through Zoom, or in person. You can give them a call at 908-380-6876 or visit sciencecpaservices.com. With that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. Ajay Kumar of Science CPA Services. Good to have you. Good to see you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Appreciate that.
Good. How's it going?
It's going great. It's going well. I mean, the busy season is over. 15th September being the tax filing deadline for all the flow-through entities. Now we have October 15th being the next deadline for all the personal taxes and corporations, C Corps that filed the extension. They must file the taxes by October 15th.
All right. So I can see that your focus is on the taxes deadlines. September 15 passed away and now you're talking about October 15. So it seems that you don't have a whole lot of money invested in the Dow Jones, or your stock portfolio is not that much, because you don't seem to be worried after Dow Jones had a debacle a couple of days ago, lost 700 points ever since Fed announced the rate increase. So where does it going to take us, and what's the situation? Let's connect it with the stock market and the Fed rate increase.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So the way it works, federal government keeps increasing the rate every other month to curb the inflation, to curb the demand that we have for everything. I mean, real estate market was hot this summer. Everything is expensive. The freight charges went 5 times, from $2,000 to $10,000, $12,000. This inflation created a situation in the market where the demand is too high and supply is not there. So in order to curb the inflation, the federal government is increasing the rate. They just increased the rate by 75 basis points. In this show, we bring you what does it mean to you? The 75 basis point increase everybody is talking about. Everybody is talking about federal government increasing the rate. You know, the stock market went down by a few hundred points. Okay, what does it mean to you? Sanjeev ji, in this show, we talk about for a general consumer, for a small business, what does it mean to have federal rate going up?
Everything's going to be expensive. That's what it means.
Absolutely. But so if you think about it, when the rates are going up by the federal government, if you need to take a mortgage, it's going to be expensive. The mortgage rates are over 6% for the first time in last, God knows, 14 years. 14 years, first time over 6%. So getting the new mortgage is going to be very expensive. Getting the auto loan, new auto loan, is going to be expensive, because a lot of them are variable rate, a lot of them are pegged on the prime rate and the federal rate, the central bank rate. If you are going for a new home equity line of credit, earlier, 6 months ago, if you could afford a house for $500,000 with your income, now you can only afford a house for $350,000, because the interest component of the total payment is going to be much higher. So every new loan is going to be more expensive than what it would have been, what it used to be. But on the flip side, on the positive side, if you have extra money lying around, it's the right time to be buying the treasury notes or fixed deposit or CDs, because those rates are going up as well.
All right, so now that leads me to a question. Are we going to experience a recession, a big time recession?
Well, the reason for these rate increase is to avoid the recession. And the recession probably is going to be there, but not the depression. So recession is only 2 quarters of consecutive downturn, and that is possible. And that's why the federal government is increasing the rate to curb the inflation, so we can avoid the depression if not the recession.
Okay. Well, this is obviously to control inflation because inflation is
Absolutely.
really eating us alive. So now, let's say if the inflation is controlled and if recession is a short-term recession and not too hard on the consumer, then I think we're looking at a better future. But whatever it might be, we really need to be careful. And talk about careful, I want to lead to the next story. All I can say, unbelievable story that is. Astonishing, outrageous, however that I can put adjectives in front of it. That's how it is. It has to do about Morgan Stanley. Now, what I understand is what happens is that every firm has outdated equipments or the technology equipment such as computers and computer related products. In this case, Ajay, what happened was that when they auctioned off the old computers, and one of the computers had their Morgan Stanley's customers all these secret data, and that leaked out.
Absolutely. So the story is important for two perspectives. First, even the larger company like Morgan Stanley, the mistakes can happen over there. They were trying to get rid of their older equipment. The vendor was supposed to scrub the drive, sort of clean the drives before discarding. The vendor who was supposed to do it, they gave this work to another third party. Long story short, the drive had some sensitive information, some social security number, name, addresses, and it went out. Morgan Stanley has curbed it. The second part why this story is important, the person who was suing Morgan Stanley is our own Gurbir Grewal,
Yes.
who used to be the prosecutor,
Attorney
General
for the
in the state of New Jersey,
Right.
before joining SEC.
Right.
So SEC sued Morgan Stanley, and Morgan Stanley had to pay $35 million to close the case. Morgan Stanley did not accept any fault, and they are still saying no information has been going out, and there is no harm to their consumer, to their subscribers. But $35 million is what the case was settled for.
$35 million? Between who? Between the
Between the
investors and
SEC, Security Exchange Commission, that's headed by the Gurbir
Right.
Grewal now,
and
Morgan Stanley.
So now the question is, what's going to happen to investors whose information leaked out, and if they can get access to their bank accounts and everything else, what's going to happen?
Well, the information is really not leaked out. As a part of the process checkup, as a part of the internal control checkup, it was found that some of the information, sensitive information, may have been there on some of the drives that were not scrubbed.
Well, I like to quote what Gurbir Grewal said. Gurbir Grewal, who is the director of the SEC's Enforcement Division, he said that, quote, failures in this case are astonishing, unquote, right? He said, if not properly safeguarded, this sensitive information can end up in the wrong hands and have disastrous consequences for
Absolutely.
investors.
It can.
So the settlement is $35 million between the Morgan Stanley and the SEC.
And the SEC, without admitting the fault.
Correct. And now with investors, I guess investors can go after Morgan Stanley, right?
If the information is misused, then they can.
All right. Okay, let's move on to one of our favorite segments that viewers really enjoy, which is a gold price.
Absolutely. So the gold prices are going to be stressed because the dollar is going up, dollar is getting stronger. For the first time, we have seen the dollar prices for Indian rupees is over 81. It has not happened ever. So the gold rate and the dollar goes in the opposite direction. When the dollar is getting stronger day by day, at that time the gold price goes down. So the gold price is going to remain a little bit stressed, a little bit lower in the near future, while the dollar price is going to remain stronger for near foreseeable future in next 3 months.
Oh, okay, that's what the prediction is.
Absolutely.
So gold price right now, it's trending. I mean, this could be a little up and down. Don't really quote us for that. Is what, $1,675?
That's what it is.
Within
in that range.
I remember it was 1,700 plus when we had.
Absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, it was much higher. It's going down slowly, but consistently. The gold price have been going down, and that's what we are forecasting for the gold price to be continue slightly on the lower side.
Okay, so gold price is going down slightly, very, very slightly, and I hope that trend continues. But the exchange rate, Indian rupees versus dollar, is also about same or going down a little bit.
It's going up slightly. The forecast is the dollar is going to get stronger. There is more demand on the US dollars with the Ukraine-Russia war. More people are seeing dollar as the currency of tomorrow. So dollar is in demand. That makes dollar to be stronger compared to other international
But
currencies.
I thought because of petrodollar, situation, dollar was going to get weaker because
It
now
would.
China is pushing their own currency. India is buying oil from Russia, paying in Indian rupees, right? Chinese people are paying their own currency. That means what used to be payment only in the petrodollar back then for the oil payment, right? So now that trend is changing.
It's changing, it's not there yet. In the near future, we still expect the dollar to be stronger.
Okay.
But in the long run, if you look at, give me not 3 months, give me 3 years forecast, then we have to see if the trend continues, if all the bigger countries, China, Russia, India, they start using their own currency and India is using rupees more than the US dollar now, then it will be a different effect in the long run, in 3 to 5 years time.
All right, so while we are at this situation, let's just quickly talk about Forex reserves have fallen over 80 billion since Ukraine crisis to a 2-year low.
Absolutely. So in order to avoid dollar getting more stronger, the Indian government had to sell $2 billion worth of gold to control the inflation, to control the rupees sliding down in comparison to the US dollar. So since Ukraine war started, India has lowered its reserve by $80 billion, lowest for the foreseeable history.
Wow.
So Indian government has sold $2 billion worth of gold to curb the inflation, to curb the sliding of the rupees compared to the US dollar.
Yes.
Since the Ukraine war started, Indian government has reduced the reserve by $80 billion. Now the reserves are the lowest that the government has seen in last 10 years.
Okay. And then like to add that, India's import cover has fallen for 6 straight weeks and 23 out of 29 ever since Russia-Ukraine war
Absolutely.
started. So, this is not such a great news, but the decline in the country's forex reserves is likely to be there for a while. So
it seems like that.
That pinch is going to be experienced by everybody, with the dollar still gaining ground, as you say, to new peaks not seen in over 2 decades against most major countries. I mean, dollar and euro are almost equal. Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
In the direction it's going.
We never thought it would happen. We never thought it would happen. So anyway, so let's see what happens. All right. So these are the stories in the first half of the Business Talk with AJ right here on ITV Gold. And while we talked about India's forex reserves and everything else, second half, we're going to have really good stories coming out of India. It's all related to business and some of its sports. So that's all coming up for you in the second half. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the second half of the Business Talk with AJ show right here on ITV Gold. In case if you have joined us for the very first time, I'm sure you must be enjoying it. This is the weekly show on ITV Gold. We bring you business related stories, US business related and international business related. And that's a compliment for Mr. AJ Kumar of Science CPA Services. What is Science CPA Services? A complete accounting firm in the state of New Jersey with multiple locations, and can assist you with any tax related matter, personal or corporate tax related matter. Do give them a call. No question is a silly question, and see how they can help you with your personal or corporate taxes. And if you're thinking about starting your own business, good luck to you, but find out what is the right entity for you. One of the few firms provides a right guidance and direction. That's a Science CPA Services in New Jersey. 908-380-6876, and Mr. AJ Kumar is part of Science CPA Services. Let's move on quickly to the other stories.
Absolutely.
And of course, we always try to bring in a little bit of Bollywood if there is an interesting story. There's a movie coming out called Chup.
Absolutely.
Chup means khamosh.
Yes.
Right? So be quiet, rather. So this movie stars, Dulquer Salman and Sunny Deol in the lead roles. But the movie is made by Amitabh Bachchan's one of favorite directors, Balki. So Balki has made this movie, and this is the movie which is going to be releasing soon. But the special preview of this film sold out in 10 minutes.
That's the business angle to it. See, what used to happen, there is always a free preview, and in a special theater. So instead of doing the special theater free preview, this time they did it online. And the total number of seats were sold in less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes. the whole seats were full. And that's the business angle to it. And what you need to know, the way you see this news, it shows you how the tomorrow looks. When the next movie comes, they will be not using this type of regular, traditional method. More and more things will be done online, more and more things will be done on internet. This is the news. This is how you see the news, as the whole world is moving towards internet in the near future.
But this is a really interesting idea. 3 days before its release, they planned out this preview, and it was free of cost.
Absolutely.
Absolutely free of cost, and they selected 10 cities in India to have this preview, and the cities were Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Lucknow, Gurgaon, Jaipur, Kolkata, Bangalore, and Hyderabad.
This is to create the buzz over there, so the whole country is starting to talk about it.
Right. Okay. And you know the other side of the story? This movie is, I believe, and what I have read so far, is based on late Guru Dutt's life.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's also a fact that Amitabh Bachchan has composed a tune for one of the tracks.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, and I think Amitabh also gives a special appearance in this film, but he has composed a tune, piano tune. He composed it and give it to the director R. Balki. So that's interesting. That's a fact. Anyway, so who is India's cricketer who ranks third, or who ranks among the top 5, top 3 in the world when it comes to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram? And you know what? Ajay ji has the answer.
Absolutely. So Virat Kohli crossed 50 million plus subscribers on Twitter. It's a big news. He is the number 3rd in the follower. So what you need to know, even if it's cricket, soccer, basketball, whatever you do, not just the study, just be the best in it. You need to be the best in whatever you do.
Well, you need to be the best, and you need to have that. I think Virat Kohli has that kind of attitude.
The passion.
That, you know, either people love to hate or they hate to love. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you need to have that. So, Virat Kohli became first cricketer to complete 50 million followers on Twitter. You got that? Then Kohli has 211 million followers on Instagram. You feeling bad about that? Wow. Are you on Instagram? Check out how many followers you have. And, you know, this is after having a dismal Asia Cup performance. I mean, Virat Kohli hit his century and first time in
Virat Kohli did very well.
Yeah, well, he hit century towards the end of it, which was no meaning. But this is after that. And, you know, and who is ahead of Virat Kohli is the soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo, has 450 million followers, and Lionel Messi has 333
They're
million
both from
followers.
football.
So this is unbelievable, but you know, all the best to Virat Kohli.
Absolutely.
And I guess he's probably making more money from this followers, and you know,
well, a lot of I mean, if you remember, in one of the show we talked about him opening a restaurant
yes.
in Kishore Kumar's bungalow.
Correct.
So a lot of these cricket players, their life span for the game is not too long. You cannot be playing cricket when you are 45 or 50 years old. So they try finding an alternative source of income by the restaurant, by branding, by Twitter, or becoming the commentator.
Exactly. Now my question to you is that Virat Kohli has this many followers all over the world on a social media. He has a very strong presence. So somewhere he's not contributing to India's GDP growth, I guess, because Fitch, who actually monitors, you know, country's GDP, that firm monitors GDP growth. Fitch has cut down India's GDP growth forecast to 7% for the fiscal year 2023.
You are right, even though they have cut it down from 7.8% to 7%, but if you look at holistically, 7% is not bad.
Not bad at all.
7% is extremely good.
Yes.
I mean, the US had 2%, 3% forever. The growth in this country has been 2%. So 7% from a comparison perspective is extremely good. But Fitch came up with the data that they were expecting it to be 7.8%. It's not going to be 7.8%. It's going to be around 7%. But in my opinion, 7% is still extremely good.
Exactly. Do you remember Bollywood film called Dangal?
Dangal, of course.
You remember
Absolutely.
that? Amir Khan's movie?
Amir Khan's movie.
Which was based on Geeta and Babita Phogat's
Phogat,
life.
absolutely.
All right. So their cousin, Vinesh Phogat, has created history, becoming first Indian woman to win 2 medals at World Wrestling Championship.
It never happened before. Not one person has won more than 1 medal.
1 medal.
So she won 2 medals for the first time in the history of the country.
Correct. Became the first Indian woman to win 2 medals as wrestling, and that is a good news. So that's you know, congratulations to Vinesh Phogat. Okay, So now there is a reason for you to visit a park in Madhya Pradesh in India next time you go to India. And if you want to see cheetahs, those cheetahs which came from Africa, I believe.
Absolutely.
Right?
So
8 cheetahs, and they were released in the park on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday.
absolutely. So it's a new effort. Cheetahs were eliminated. They sort of died all 50 years ago, and now cheetahs are being reintroduced in India. India is hot and the right environment for cheetah. Because of the hunting and because of the other problem, they were not there anymore. So they are bringing 8 cheetahs from Africa, putting them in a reserve environment, putting them in a reserve forest to grow cheetahs again in the country.
Yep, so that is interesting. And they are saying that this will increase the tourist attraction, and then more and more people will be visiting a park to see the cheetah. And I'm sure families and the kids, they will be visiting there.
It will be a new attraction.
Yes, so there's always something, stories related to the business and the stories that you cannot find anywhere else in the show. This show, The Business Talk with Ajay, that's the stories we try to bring it for you. And we are so happy to do that. That's a weekly show. So Ajay ji, thank you so very much for your
Absolutely.
time. And Ajay ji mentioned that October 15 is the tax deadline for the
For
personal.
all individuals and the C corporation, October 15th is a tax deadline if you filed an extension. If you file a day late, you are considered 6 months late, not just 1 day late, because then extension is invalid and is not considered.
Wow. Okay. So when you're 6 months late, what do? You pay penalty?
You have to pay the penalty and the interest.
Oh God. All right. So this is going to keep you very busy till October 15th. Then Ajay ji is going to take a mini vacation and then get ready for the tax season come January 2023. But that's all heads up I'm giving you ahead of the time. Anyway, with that note, we come to an end of this show, The Business Talk with Ajay Kumar, right here on ITV Gold. Remember, Science CPA Services, do contact them. Any accounting related or tax related matters, that question you have, do give them a call. Find out how you can save taxes. Ask them how you can find taxes, how you can file taxes right way, so that way you don't get, your door don't get knocked on by IRS auditor. I mean, it doesn't happen that way, but I'm just saying you don't get a letter from IRS saying that they want to audit your taxes. So for that, Science CPA Services, 908-380-6876 or sciencecpaservices.com. Ajay Kumar, thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
Until we meet again, same place, same time, right here on your favorite channel, ITV Gold. I am Sanjeev Pandya, wishing you all happy and lucky days ahead. So long.
Thank you.